Hello everyone, it's King Sloth and welcome back to another daily video log. In today's video I'm going to go over a quick question people have been asking me, and that is, who actually are you? Like, I've seen your content, I don't actually know your story, who you are. So for those who don't know me, my name is King Sloth. I joined the British Army in 2016, February 1st, and it was a decision that I didn't make lightly. The decision to actually join the army was not because I wanted to be in the army. It's cold outside, so I just said. The decision to get into the army was because I worked in a little town, and it was agency work, and that agency work, it dried up to the point where I was going round in a suit with printed off CVs, handing it to any shop, any factory that would have you, and they were openly like, "I'm sorry mate, there's no work." So one day I sat there with the now wife, and I was like, I've got no other choice. This is what I need to do, because I obviously now, it's my fiance at the time, I was there like, I've got no other choice. I've got a stepdaughter to look after, raise, pay for, everything like that. I couldn't just not have no job, if you know what I mean. I couldn't just not. So it was one of them situations where I had no choice. I applied for the British Army, Royal Air Force, Royal Navy, all in one stint. And it was really scary that that's what it had came to, the fact that I had to apply for these jobs. I couldn't get any other work around me, and it was scary. I was really worried. We had to move back to the in-laws. We did so many different things. We had to cut all ties pretty much to how we did things. It went from being a family dynamic where we had a nice house and to we had no money coming in at all, so we had to give up that house, move back in with Chloe's parents, and pretty much wait to see what military came up first. And the first people that contacted me were the British Army. I went across to them, did my phase 1 at ATL Winchester from 2016. Phase 1, I always describe to people, was the best and worst time of my life. It's like, you're going to get beasted, you know, it's going to be shit, but you get on with it and you get through it. After I finished phase 1 at Winchester, I went over to 11 SIGs down in Blandford, which is Dorset, and did my trade training. It took almost 2 years, but that also includes your chance of getting promoted at the end of it, because you do your PNCO, which is your signaller private to Lance Corporal. And I'll pass that, so I got Lance Corporal straight into my posting down at 16 Signals in Stafford. And I really... when I first started there, I struggled quite a lot. I had a pretty bad manager. My staff sergeant was horrendous, and I had a bullying case against him to the point where my daughter was getting diagnosed for autism, and I even told him, I was like, I've got a meeting tomorrow, I'll use the whole day off, but I'll still come into work when I'm not in that meeting. I was like, I just need to have it off. Like, it was like 2 weeks in advance. He's like, yeah, of course mate, that's fine, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I was like, Roger, what do you need me to do? It was things this, it was like, okay, I need you to do this night work. I was like, okay, so I worked all day, then I worked all night, went back home to go to sleep, because obviously I've been up all night. I was like, I've been up for all day, like literally over 24 hours straight. So then he called me up at like 8:15 in the morning when we went to be on parade, like, where the fuck are you? Got up in half an hour. I was like, I'd snapped. I went pretty much down quite bad mental health. I had 3 months off getting sorted, quite intensive therapy, because that obviously weren't just the first situation. There was many situations like that, or just getting picked out constantly, being that person to be like almost destroyed. Never mind, this dude was a small bloke, and we all said he just had little man syndrome. But with me, I didn't want to be the person to kick off, because I know, like, I respect the rank as a staff sergeant. I didn't want to kick off. But it built like a pressure kettle, and I exploded, and eventually they sent me off work for 3 months. When I came back, did really well, enjoyed my time thoroughly, went loads of different exercises, deployments around everywhere, and it was great. I met some good friends who I still speak to now, some good training staff who I still speak to now. I've done my level 4 communications and IT management while I was in 16 SIGs. Then obviously the lockdown happened, and then just before lockdown I spoke to my sergeant saying I'm interested in a new challenge. I'm looking at going to the Royal Air Force, because I knew people who were there, because the Royal Air Force was already at Stafford, a couple of people there, but obviously I wanted to go into a tech role, because that's what I did in the army. I'm a communication systems engineer by trade, now a cyberspace communication specialist in the Royal Air Force. But I spoke to them, they said okay, we'll get the ball rolling, and then lockdown happened, and it was sort of up in the air to the point where I didn't know whether I was going to get into the RAF, didn't know whether I was going to stay in the army, whether I was going to just sign off and be a civvy. It was one of those situations where I wanted a challenge, and I didn't think the army could give it me anymore. I felt like I'd done a lot while I was in, and done for loads of different situations. I had my own detachment. I had my own detachment lead. It was I ticked off the boxes I wanted to tick off in the army pretty much. Then applied for the Royal Air Force. Lockdown happened. Took about 6 months, and then lockdown had finished. I did a week back in the army, and then literally I remember on my last day I was like, oh, it's my last day, lads. They're like, what? Like, yeah, it's my last day, I'm transferring. But you can't just transfer that quick when I started at the start of COVID. So literally they gave me a card, gave me a present, went for a couple of drinks, and that was it. I was gone, and literally moved up to RAF Lossiemouth, where I loved it there. Wish I could go back, and that is a potential card in the future. Moved to Lossiemouth, had to drive back down south to Halton for a week to do my TART course, which I'm going to do a video on in depth in the future. But yeah, went straight up to RAF Lossiemouth, loved it up in Scotland. They then sold my role at Lossie to civvies, so that was a bit of a shit one. I spent 2 years up at Scotland, and then it got canned, so I had to look for somewhere else. But luckily the RAF were like, there's loads of jobs wherever you want to go, you can literally pick. So I wanted to be close to home. Well, the wife did, and that meant we came back to Lincolnshire. I'm obviously not going to give you the camp exactly where I am, because it's a bad idea, because there's loads of camps around here anyway. Lincolnshire, that's what I'll give you. But I'm here now doing cyber, but obviously I'm currently off work again. I injured my shoulder in RAF Lossiemouth, and they didn't send me for a scan, didn't send me for anything. They just wanted to give me under physio, which I've now been told has actually made my shoulder a lot worse, to the point where I tore quite a bit, damaged my cartilage, done this, done that, and it was pretty bad. So then obviously got to Waddington, did a couple of months, and they were like, yeah, you shouldn't even be in work at all. So I've literally done over a year now off. It took me that long to get surgery. I've had surgery now I'm under the recovery process, and it's a bit of a manic one. It's a bit of a manic one now. I'm waiting to get approved to go back to work. I'm on the physio, I've just seen in previous videos. But it's one of them where I've enjoyed Waddington to the point where I'm close to home. However, I miss Scotland. I miss it a lot, and hopefully one day I can go back. It's one of them. Because I love the mountains, I love the scenery, I love the actual area I was in. It was quiet, there was no traffic. Because Lincolnshire, it's proved me now that I'm not a city dude. I'm not a city dude at all. And it was, I thought getting posted down south would make me feel better, like put more positive wise, but now I've left Scotland and come here, I realise that I miss the mountains, I miss the beach, I miss the forests, I miss the lochs, I miss the people up there. So hopefully in the near future, maybe some point next year, I can look at a posting back up to RAF Lossiemouth, but we'll see what happens. But it has been King Sloth. That's pretty much my story about the military anyway. Maybe I might do a whole life story one day. I might do it in a live stream, because this is like a 10-minute video and it's just me talking nonsense. But it has been King Sloth. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all soon. Peace.